I have a complicated relationship with sleep. Sometimes I'm like, sleep is so pointless. I want to be awake and doing things. Usually that's at 2 a.m. And other times I'm like, why do I ever get out of bed? This is soft and warm and I don't want to get up. And that's usually at 8 a.m. when I should be getting up. But seriously, for something we spend like a third of our lives doing, sleep is kind of mysterious. Now, at first glance, that seems obvious. How are we supposed to know what's going on while we sleep? We're unconscious. We're so busy dealing with the nonsensical world of our dreams that we can't be observing what the flesh suit is doing in real life. And for a lot of recorded history, that was what most people were interested in when it came to sleep. Dreams. People wanted to know what their dreams meant. And that's still a thing, actually. From the ancient Near East to the Bible to our very own year of 2022. People have been fascinated by the meanings of their dreams for a long time. Dream interpretation for the purpose of divination is known as oniromancy. The ancient Egyptians had a whole book full of what they believed were the meanings of different dream symbols, and they weren't the only ones. We found tablets known as the Iskaru Zikiku, I'm definitely butchering that, from the ancient Akkadians. Seriously, my pronunciation notes just say, yeah, good luck on that one. Thanks, scriptwriting Rachel. That had very specific interpretations of dreams, like, if a man dreams that he doeth the work of a night watchman, his personal god will strip him. I don't know what stripping him means in this context. If he dreams that he sprinkleth his urine with his foot, his eldest son will die. If he dreams of a hunt in the desert, he will become sad. A lot of the texts seem to have been lost, but those are some of the more intelligible ones. And in medieval Europe, there was a whole genre of literature called dream visions or dream allegories, where people just wrote about their characters having dreams. I mean, medieval Europe in general was pretty into the Bible, and the Bible is full of people receiving prophecies or messages from God in their dreams. Medieval Islam was also pretty into it, considering that the Quran explicitly states, "And of his signs is your sleeping at night, and your seeking his bounty during the day. Indeed, there are signs in this for those who hearken." And even more impressively, many Islamic scholars from those times were among the first to study the impact sleep has on health. The father of early modern medicine, Avicenna, even wrote about the importance of sleeping in the right position, and recorded treatments and side effects of a condition that's now known as sleep apnea, where you stop and start breathing in your sleep. People in those times also wrote a fair bit about sleep paralysis, usually believing it to be caused by demons or evil spirits, although one Persian physician tried to find a physical cause as early as the 10th century. The bad news there is we still don't know exactly what causes it, although it is now associated with conditions like narcolepsy, PTSD, and even things like jet lag that mess with your regular sleeping rhythms. So the jury's still out on the whole demon thing too, I guess. Wait, what's sleep paralysis? Oh yeah, sleep paralysis is a condition where a person finds themselves unable to move or speak while they're falling asleep or waking up. Probably because most of your muscles don't really work while you're asleep. Basically, sleep paralysis happens when your brain wakes up before your body. And if that wasn't bad enough, it's also often accompanied by hallucinations like an intruder in your room, or even sitting on your chest while you lie in bed. Episodes usually last around 6 to 7 minutes, but I imagine they feel like an eternity. The good news is, sleep paralysis is usually harmless, aside from being scary, and most people will only experience it once or twice in their life, if they experience it at all. So our muscles don't work during sleep? What else is different? Well, human sleep usually involves going back and forth between two different states: REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, and non-REM, which has 3 separate stages in itself. A side note, although fish, reptiles, and birds have something like it, mammals are the only animals we've found that seem to have a distinct REM stage of sleep. Insects and worms at least have some sort of period of silencing of their nervous system, a state of rest, although the length of the sleep cycles varies pretty widely throughout different species in the animal kingdom. Fun fact, the way that birds constrict their pupils during sleep versus wakefulness is the exact opposite of the way humans do it. The first stage of non-REM sleep usually only lasts a few minutes. Your heartbeat slows down, your muscles relax. This stage is more like being between awake and asleep. The second stage sees more physiological changes. Your body temperature drops along with your heart rate. The brain starts to produce waves called sleep spindles, which are bursts of brain activity where cortical pyramidal cells, a specific type of neuron, are flooded with calcium ions. These bursts of brain activity have been shown to be important for the processing and solidifying of memories. More spindles have been associated with better performance on tasks that require recollection of previously learned information. Stage 3 is the deepest part of sleep, where it'll probably be difficult to wake you up, and if you do wake up, you'll probably feel foggy for a while afterwards, which is called sleep inertia. Stage 3 is also where your body repairs itself physically and restores the energy used during the day. This stage is also where you might sleepwalk or have night terrors. After about 90 minutes of these stages, you'll reach REM sleep, which gets its name from the fact that, well, your eyes move rapidly during it. We're not entirely sure why this happens. As we talked about before, most of your voluntary muscles, aside from your eyes and the ones involved in breathing, are pretty much paralyzed during this stage. Because if they weren't, you might actually end up not just sleepwalking, but acting out your dreams, which also occur during this stage. The REM stage of sleep is anything but restful. If you were to scan a brain during REM sleep, you would be able to see it light up like a Christmas tree soaked in gasoline and decorated with candles, using more oxygen and even increasing its metabolism by up to 20%. If sleep were that movie, A Beautiful Mind, REM would be the part where we find out the little girl has been telling Russell Crowe the answers to his math equations this whole time, and her mind is actually the beautiful one. But she can't go to college because she's a girl and like 10 years old. So instead, Russell Crowe pretends she's his daughter and brings her to class with him so she can crack the code and save America from the Soviet spies. Or something like that. During REM, now in addition to the parts of the brain associated with memory, the areas involved in learning and creativity are stimulated. It's actually really important to our survival to get REM sleep. Being deprived of it can cause irritability, increased appetite, trouble concentrating, even hallucinations if you go long enough. Kids who get less of it tend to have more behavior problems. Some scientists got rats addicted to cocaine and then took them off of it and found out that the rats that got more REM sleep got off the drugs faster. You go through the stages of sleep a few times a night, actually. Usually you go from stage 1 to 2 to 3 and then back to 2 and then into REM and then back to 2 and repeat until you wake up. And that's sleep in a nutshell. Now, usually this is the part of the video where I tell you how to sleep better, but I'm not gonna bore you with the usual advice because you've probably heard it all before. You know, like go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Only use your room for sleeping. Turn off your electronics a half hour before bed. Stuff like that. You've heard it. I get it. I'm trying to be realistic here. I practically live in this room and my phone stays firmly glued to my eyeballs until my fingers physically won't hold on to this unholy dopamine box anymore. But hey, now you know at least a little more about how it works. Tell me in the comments below who your personal god is and what they did after you dreamed of being a night watchman, because I still don't get what that part meant. Or just whatever dreams you've had lately. None of mine make sense. The other night, I dreamed I was at my neighbor's house, which I haven't been inside since I was a little kid, and suddenly they had an elevator that turned into a roller coaster, and I tried to get in the elevator to go to the upper floor, but it just turned out to be a roller coaster. Also, I had to back my car down their steep driveway, and it was really scary. Thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube.